I've been on a classics kick lately, defined as content that's 20 years old or older. Today, I'm reflecting nostalgically on top science fiction and fantasy TV content that honestly I wish I could watch again for the first time. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father, Jim, and son, Zach, who's not here today, get together sometimes, other times we're all by ourselves, and create content related to fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things that we enjoy. If you enjoy today's content, and I hope you do, be sure to let me know by hitting that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we invite you to do so. So when Zach and I get together and do content, we talk about what are you drinking today? When I'm doing content alone, I usually don't drink because if I take a sip, it's quiet and silent. So I have a martini today, but as you can see, most of it's gone. I had to pregame so that I could just talk to you today. So you might see me sip the little that's left at one point, but not much drinking now. But I am here to talk to you today about these fantastic science fiction and fantasy television shows of days gone by. Things that started at least 21 years ago. Most of what I have here is much older than that, but I've got a top 10 list for you. When I think of the shows that I enjoyed, that I've watched, that were back before 2004, and I've ranked them, and I'm going to share them with you today. I'll be interested in what you think of this list, and there's a comment box down there. Go ahead and drop your thoughts. What is missing from here? I know. Someone's going to say Farscape. Hot take. Farscape's not on my list. I never watched Farscape. Forgive me. I know. That's a miss. I even like the lead actor really quite a bit, but it's not on this list. But 10 other things really are. But I'd love to hear what you think. What else should be here besides Farscape? Or including Farscape, feel free to shout that out. This list was a little tough to make because some of my favorite things, TV-wise, have happened since 2004. Like Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, started in 2004, so I couldn't put it on this list. That's awesome. I have a whole episode committed just to Battlestar Galactica. But I do have 10 things here that are fantastic, and let's get to the list. Number 10, the oldest thing on my list, Lost in Space, ran from 1965 to 1968. Now, that's not a very long run, but man, the show was fun. Black and white, the old days of television. This is not to be taken seriously. This was a comedy, and it was really good. The robot was fantastic. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Just the elements of this family that went out into space and got lost and then has to survive on their desert island. It's not an island, it's a planet, but that's the premise. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed the show. Again, I was only watching it in reruns because I'm not that old. Not quite. So I'm watching reruns in the 70s of the show from the 60s. Really entertaining. And they did a reboot. They also tried a movie. None of it managed to capture the charm of the original Lost in Space. Number 9, Quantum Leap, 1989 to 1993. Okay, this is the show where I met Scott Bakula, who later on, he's done a lot of things since then, but a couple of his key roles I've really enjoyed him in were Star Trek Enterprise and NCIS New Orleans. Very different characters from what we meet in Quantum Leap. But I liked him in those roles partly because of Quantum Leap. He does a great job in this show, and man, I wish I could watch this again. I really should watch it again because back in these days, we weren't watching things on cable, so I missed plenty of the episodes. I just know I enjoyed the ones I saw, but to watch it from beginning to end, I'm sure it would be quite entertaining. Quantum Leap. The dude jumps in. He's a scientist. He's gotten himself stuck into the situation. Is he a scientist? I think he's a scientist. His friend might be the scientist. Ah, man, I don't even remember. But week to week, he's stuck in these situations where he's in someone else's body and has to solve the problem. And then he'll leap out into someone else's problem. There was a lot of fun to be had in those episodes. I really should watch them again. Number 8 is not fun. I'm talking about V. This is the 1983 two-part miniseries, and V, The Final Battle, which was the following year, continuing the story, 1984's three-part miniseries. This is about aliens who come in their big motherships before we get to Independence Day, where we all know motherships are bad. And they've come to interact with humanity, to bring good things to humanity. They're really here to eat humanity. But of course, they put on a different face, literally, which there's so much irony in, because one of the best characters in the show is an alien who feels bad about wearing a false face and interacts with the rebellion and tries to help them. And it's played by frickin' Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. So I know him from Nightmare on Elm Street, and then I'm like, cool. And he's so lovable on the show, V. The leading character, Mark Singer, I swear I know him from other things, but I couldn't remember where, to be honest. I just liked him in V. This is a great show. We don't have a lot from it, and yet it grabbed you. And back in these days, where there wasn't cable TV all over the place, miniseries grabbed you because you had 3 networks to watch. And when a miniseries came on, you had 2 networks to watch. Or watch the miniseries that's dominating your time for days at a time. V dominated. Really fun. Enjoyed that. Probably shouldn't watch it again, because I don't think this one probably holds up very well. But I have good memories. Number 7, Friday the 13th, the series, which ran from 1987 to 1990. This is a series where I did not have the chance to watch all of it. I watched episodes here and there. Really enjoyed it. Tied to these articles, these objects that are part of the occult that get scattered out amongst society, and we need to try to get them back because they're going to do bad things out there. And this cast of characters who are on the mission to try to recover these objects before they can do too much harm. And there were some really creepy and cool things happening through Friday the 13th. Enjoyed the show. The ones I saw, I wish I could watch them all again so I can fill in the gaps. I haven't even looked yet. It's probably available somewhere. Isn't everything available somewhere? This would be one I'd enjoy. Number 6, Angel, the spin-off from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This ran from 1999 to 2004. David Boreanaz leads this because he's the character, the vampire who's turned good and is now, an angel. He's the one trying to redeem himself by working for the good of others and has moved away from Buffy, his true love, but they are, doomed. They can't be together. So he's got to go do his own thing. It's the only way he's going to be able to perhaps save his soul. And it brings in a whole additional cast of characters that are wonderful. It's rare that a spinoff succeeds at the level that Angel did, but it did. I mean, it's still got all the primary elements of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I love that show, but it's got its own flair as well. Angel rocked. Watched the whole thing, and I'd love if I could watch it again. Maybe I should. Maybe I'd be disappointed. That's what you just don't know on some of these. You remember them back in the day. Would they hold the same charm? I don't know. Number 5, I'm pretty sure would not hold the same charm. That's the $6 Million Man, 1973 to 1978. I watched these as a kid when they were broadcasting. Lee Majors was this icon of an actor in my mind because he was the frickin' $6 Million Man. He did some other things after that, but I always just loved him because he'd been the $6 million man. The sound of him using his abilities, fantastic. The show, the special effects are rather cheap. You just got to slow things down and add extra noise, and clearly you have superpowers. And yet, I loved it. Every little bit of it I saw. So that one, it's way up here at number 5, The $6 Million Man. The Bionic Woman, which is a spinoff, was also pretty good, to be honest with you, but I'm just, maybe I lump it in. I don't want to give it its own number. Number 4, I've already mentioned it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which had a significant run from 1997 to 2003. I have rewatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer and loved it. So it was good when it ran. It was good on the rerun. This is a show that holds up. You've got a nice cast of actors. They're an ensemble cast. They all can hold their own. Some of them went on to do other things after that, that were even more significant. Yeah, really, this all around is a show that's fantastic. And yeah, while it's a product of its time, it's also timeless. I think you could go back and watch it now and still enjoy it. I don't know, maybe 3 times charm. I should watch it again. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, fantastic. Don't talk to me about the movie. You don't have the TV series without the movie, but nah. The TV series is where it's at. Number 3, we're getting to the big stuff now. The X-Files, running from 1993 to 2002. That's a 9-year run. And then a 10th season that came out in 2016. And then an 11th season that came out in 2018. And that's where it's done. The X-Files was a brilliant show that's a blend of fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, all with this FBI kind of spin-off division, Mulder and Scully investigating things that nobody else really wants to acknowledge or talk about. And we got this case-by-case, episode of the week examination of the creepy, of the occult, of the alien, of the strange, of the Bigfoot, whatever it was, they could put it in the X-Files. And then the meta story all over it of perhaps alien invasion, alien probing. It's complicated. I would love to watch the X-Files again from start to finish. I've tried. It doesn't entirely hold up. The special effects, they really leaned into darkness as a feature of their show, so they didn't have to show as much as they would otherwise. You just kind of got to roll with it, and then you can enjoy the show. But yeah, the X-Files. Love it. Number 2, Stargate. Now, there's 3 different Stargate franchises. I'm only including 2 of them. SG-1, which was 1997 to 2007. And then Stargate Atlantis, which is a cheat because it starts in 2004, which isn't classic anymore. Got to be before 2004. It starts in 2004, runs through 2009. But because it's a direct spinoff and follow through from Stargate SG-1, I'm going to allow it. Stargate Universe, it's not classic enough. But to be honest, it's not good enough. So I just want these first 2, but Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis, so much goodness to these shows. I own them on disc. I watched them all multiple times and could easily go watch them again. They featured so many fun actors who've gone on to do many other things. They got frickin' MacGyver. They've got Jason Momoa and more. Ben Browder, who went on to do Farscape, which I haven't seen. Again, Stargate is where he was really the first time, his big moment. Good stuff in Stargate. Really great science fiction. If you've never watched it, who are you? What rock have you been hiding under? Go find Stargate now. But number 1, science fiction, fantasy, classic television that we've got to talk about, Star Trek, but not the original series. That really wasn't all that good. I don't throw things at me, but the original series, come on, people, hokey. It builds the foundation upon which we get the movies, and then we get all the more modern TV episodes that were fantastic. But the original series, some of those episodes are embarrassing. Some of them are fine. None of them are great. Okay, maybe the one Edge of Tomorrow. That one might be great. Okay. But it's the rarity. Now, they dealt with themes that were fantastic, cultural issues that needed to be addressed. Yeah. But the actual scripts, the actual acting, corny, man. Who? But that's all over when we go to Star Trek The Next Generation, which started in 1987. This is done at top-notch production with a great ensemble cast filled with people with huge acting chops who were ready to bring it for the show. And since that was so successful, we get Deep Space Nine rolling out in 1993, which ran through 1999, and Star Trek Voyager that came out in 1995 and went through 2001. All of these fantastic. You might notice Star Trek Enterprise with Scott Bakula, who I mentioned earlier, is not here. I'm not mentioning that one as number one because it's not. I own it as well. I enjoy that series, but not at the same level as the others because it just was missing a little of the pizzazz. But yeah, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Voyager, nothing that's come out from Star Trek since has been this level. Star Trek Discovery has its moments. Brave New Worlds, yeah, there's some quality things there, but they don't hit what these three hit. Tell me I'm wrong if you like being wrong. Okay, that's where I'll leave you for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little walk down memory lane. Share in the comments what you think about the ones I've put forward and any that you think are missing. Let's have some fun talking about shows of the past. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.